don't think we've made drastic changes to Guido's game so far. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, his opponent has changed 3 times so far. So it's kind of changing someone, it depends what somebody needs in terms of changing their style or changing how they fight. It usually takes time, and I don't think we've necessarily had the time to make what we would hope to be long-term changes in the camp. And also because we had an opponent, we were trying to get ready for that opponent, they pulled out. We got a new opponent, we're getting ready for that guy who's a southpaw, so it changed everything, they pulled out. We got another guy who was a switch hitter, we started getting ready for him, he's pulled out. So it's been a bit hard to settle on one kind of thing. So I mean, there have been some things that we've been trying to iron out a little bit. Those things being, sometimes Guido overmoves. So we're trying to take that out, and as he overmoves, as he backs off, he can make himself quite tall, and he tries to see the shots and it leaves him a little bit exposed. It leaves holes in his game. So that's one thing actually that we are trying to tighten up on, make him a little bit more compact on the way out, make him get off the lines as he gets out, or even sometimes not making him go out, like letting him meet the guys as they come in with shots. So those are small things we've kind of been working on a little bit. And then mostly it's been, consistently changing game plans for different people who we're going to fight. I think the difference in London Guido to Las Vegas Guido is, I think he gotten a little bit stale in Vegas, and I don't think that's necessarily down to the training or Kevin Barry. I know Kevin Barry, he's a great guy, he's a good coach. I think it was more the environment. Like for Guido, he's in Vegas, everybody knows what Vegas is about. He's not a guy who likes going out. He's not a guy who likes gambling. He didn't know many Italian people out there, so he didn't have a very big support unit out there. His family are over here in Italy. And I think for him, he was out there 18 months, 2 years, something like that, I think. And I think after a while, that really started getting on top of him. And I mean, psychology is a big part of boxing, as we know. And I think for him, mentally, he wasn't in the right place. So now him making the switch over to here, his family are 2 hours away, 90 minutes away on a plane. He knows a lot of people here in London, so I think literally that difference by itself it picks him up a little bit. So you feel a little bit happier every day going into, I finished the gym, I can go see my friends. I finished the gym, I can go and do this. So he's just got that little bit of support around him where he can give everything to training, and then he's not going home and sitting in his room just not being able to talk to anybody. And that's just a lift. That's a psychological lift. I work with Joe Joyce, who's managed by S-Jam Boxing, who also managed Guido. So I think when the time came, and I'm not sure if Guido had already left when he'd spoken to his management team, or he was in Vegas and he said, I want to leave, and then it came about. I'm not sure how it came about, but he had made the decision to leave Vegas. And I think speaking to them, they thought, well, London's pretty close to Italy. They know me, obviously I work with Joe. And they thought, why not put these two together and see what happens, see what the relationship is. So that's basically what happened. Guido come over, and I guess normally you kind of do like a trial week or something, but we didn't really do that. We come in, we did the first session, and we just kind of vibed off each other. It was interesting because his English isn't unbelievable, my Italian is non-existent, so it's more just the chemistry we got on the pads and stuff. And I think for him, what made everything a little bit more comfortable is, I think my style is quite similar to his amateur coach's style, who has coached him, up through the Olympics. He's been there with him every fight in his pro career to date. And so I think for him, it was quite a relief that when he started training with me, he's like, okay, this is something that I'm used to and I'm familiar with. So yeah, I think it was quite fortunate, I don't know, turn of events. But yeah, it was literally through the management of Joe Joyce and Guido that brought us together. So the relationship between me, Guido, and his Italian coach, Simone, is good. It's a new relationship. It's a developing relationship. So when Guido first came here, Simone was back in Italy. So I think he always comes over for the last week of Guido's camps, wherever he is. So me and Guido started just me and him at first. which is good because I had to get used to him, he had to get used to me, and like he told me straight away, first session, that you and Simone are very similar. So, but obviously, like, they tell you, but you don't really know. And then Simone comes over, and I think me and Guido were doing pads the first time, so there's that little bit of pressure, because like he's been with Guido for 10 years, and now he's there on the outside watching, and I'm like, okay, right. But he was like, he'd be there and be going, I just see him like nodding or yes, like, so I'm like, okay, like he's on board, which is fantastic. And then, yeah, we got a good relationship. Like, again, like his English isn't great, so sometimes we've got to use Guido as a translator between me and Simone, or sometimes we've got to use a total random person to translate between all of us. But yeah, I mean, we're on the same wavelength. We see similar things, which is good. That's very useful, especially if you're going to both work. Like, I'm sure there'll be times where Guido's probably in Italy, maybe before he comes over for a camp, and it's good to know that the person he's working with is going to be, you know, looking at the same things that I look at and go, okay, we need to fix this, or we need to make this adjustment here. So that, yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better relationship, really. And it's a new one, and I think it'll be a fruitful one, and I'm happy, I'm excited to see where it goes.